One, two, three, baby. Now here we go. Hey everyone, welcome to Princess of Gay. I'm your host Connie, and today we are here with Season 7, Episode 1, our first impressions of, for Totally Spies. So, you may be thinking, like, wait, you're doing a first impressions for a series 7 episodes in? And then you may be thinking, wait, Totally Spies is back? And it's like, yeah, there's a lot to cover here. So, if you watched Totally Spies when it was originally airing in America and everything, it ended in, like, I want to say 2015. And yeah, that was almost a decade ago. And we thought that was just the end. That was going to be all there was. But then it was eventually revealed, like a few years back, that they were working on a revival. Not a reboot, but just an actual revival, a season 7 that will continue where the story left off and give us new stories. Now, for the upcoming American release, they have already announced that due to union contracts and stuff, they aren't bringing back the original voice actors for Sam, Alex, and Clover, which really sucks. And mind you, like, technically for Alex, that would be the second voice actor because she had two of them. But it really kind of sucks, and I do, at the same time, kind of hope that the new VAs do well. And I just wish that the old VAs were able to come back, you know? Because these are the characters they made famous. Though, while I have nothing against the VA herself, I did not like Alex's second voice. But then again, I also didn't like how they changed her character either. The early seasons, Alex was the best character in the show. I'll just put it that way. So, I'm talking about all of this, and I just want to make one thing clear here. We are reacting to the original French. Because a lot of people don't know, this is a French series. Totally Spies started out as a French series. And it eventually came to North America later down the line. We think of, like, because it's, you know, set in Beverly Hills and all for the most part, we think of it as an American cartoon, but it's not. Now, the reasons we're reacting to the French, the original French version here, is kind of twofold. One, because of the entire debacle with the voice actors not coming back for the English version that is coming out sometime later this year. And that's kind of the second reason. Don't know when that's coming out. I just found out that this had already started airing in France. And that's why I've decided to check this out. Because, like, even just yesterday, I did not know this had started airing already. So, if I had, I probably would have, like, paired it up with the BoJack Horseman first impression we did yesterday and just done them both together. Because, like, this was not in the plans. I didn't wake up today planning to do this. I just was scrolling through social media and I found out, oh, this has been released. So I started looking for it on sites, and it's like, oh, wait, no. Usually I can't find, like, outside of anime, stuff from other countries on these sites. And through, honestly, very little digging, I ended up finding a Discord server where they are putting the subbed versions on there. But it's interesting because, and this is something that's happened well in the past with, like, American productions and all as well. They're releasing the episodes out of order. This is the first episode. I do know that for sure. I did make sure on that. But they're releasing the episodes out of order. Because the next episode that was released in the airtime, like this was released on the 12th, right? The one that was released on the 19th, I believe, was the 7th episode of the season. And mind you, most of these episodes are probably, like, to a degree episodic rather than serialized. But I still feel like it's weird to do that. And the thing is, this has happened, like, plenty of times before. I think it happened with even Steven Universe, where certain episodes were aired just completely out of order, out of production order, and it's like, how are you supposed to watch this properly? It's a weird thing that a lot of, like, cartoons in the old days did and everything, and it for purely episodic shows it doesn't matter, but if there's any level of storyline, if there's any level of continuity, it's gonna fuck it up entirely. And so if I continue this, it's definitely going to be later after, I can watch it in order. Just letting you know that ahead of time. So you may be wondering, though, like I said, why am I doing a first impressions of a series that I have seen the first 6 seasons and the movie of? Like, this isn't a new series, it's just a new season. It's been 9 years since, again, at least here in North America, the last season finished airing. I assume even more, since it initially aired in France. But why am I choosing to do a first impression instead of just checking it out eventually? Well, the reason is actually pretty simple. It's been, like, around 10 years. Like, you can't expect this to basically be exactly the same. This is gonna very much, in a lot of ways, feel like a new show. It's gonna have new people working on it, and apparently the French cast is all returning, from what I've heard. But, like, in terms of, like, directors and producers and all, you're gonna have new people working on it. You're gonna have new writers and everything. And while they're definitely gonna try to capture the same style and feeling, it's also animated differently. If you've seen any trailers or whatnot that have been released, it's notably going to be different. You also have to take into account modern day shit. Like, you have to take into account how any of that might seep in here. So, because of that, I feel like it's at least worth giving a chance to. But I don't feel comfortable just pushing myself into it. I feel like I need to do a first impression to see if it's like, oh, is this going to be close enough to the original to where I can get right back into it? Is it going to be different to a point where it's like, I can't get into it? I gotta make sure, It'd be like if I jumped into that, the recent revival of something like Futurama, which I haven't checked out yet, by the way. But if I jumped right into that, it's like, that could provide some issues. And it would, it would possibly not work as well. Though, the thing is, it's been a lot less time between Futurama ending and this revival coming in than it has for Totally Spies. And it's probably a lot more of the, like, old cast and crew working on it. So it's kind of a different idea in the first place, but you get the gist. I just want to make sure before I would commit myself to this. And then you also have to take into account that when I watched Totally Spies, I was watching it like as it was airing. And I wasn't like super actively like heavily into it. But I watched it as it aired, as the episodes came out. In 2015, let's see, I was 24? No, 23. Sorry. Yeah, 23. So I was an adult, but I was, pretty much a decade younger. And at 23, I was very different than I am now. Obviously, that was a couple years before I even came out. And while I do still have fond memories of the show, there's also stuff about the show that's like really, really wacky and definitely introduced a lot of people to kinks. It's almost kind of famous for that. I know Saber Sparks made fun of that. But yeah, Totally Spies is kind of known for that in a way. And it's like you got to go into this, I feel like, a little cautiously rather than just like thrusting yourself back into it. So I think doing this first impressions will help. And then later down the line, if I choose to continue this, if I feel like it's like, oh yeah, this is something I want to really see more of, then I will wait until, again, I can watch it in order before we get back to it. But we'll see. We'll see how it goes. So yeah, like I said, we are doing this in the French, so just be cautious or be wary about that. You're not going to hear like the classic voices you're used to. Also, the theme song, I don't know if anyone's heard it. It's already been like released on social media and stuff. So the theme song is definitely going to be different. But let's be honest, the Here We Go theme that everyone remembers for Totally Spies was only the first 2 seasons in the first place. And I think it was only for the English version anyway. But yeah, it's like seasons 3 through 5 had an instrumental version of the song. In a way, it was kind of like a remixed instrumental version. And then season 6 had a completely different song altogether. But yeah, only seasons 1 and 2 had the Here We Go theme that everyone thinks about with this series. So just a little interesting tidbit there. And the new opening, I believe, is just completely new and fresh as well. But yeah, I'm excited to get to this to see what it's like comparatively. I know there's new characters in it, so I think we should just get into it. But before we do, I do want to remind you all that we have a lot of awesome content to check out on the channel. We have every day of the week, Monday through Friday, a plethora of awesome series reactions. And on Monday, we also do YouTube, or at least YouTube adjacent reactions. Anything that doesn't quite fit in to a full series or a movie reaction. And speaking of movie reactions, we have those as well every Saturday and Sunday. And those are recorded earlier in the week, but I upload them on the weekends just so that I can get to something every day, basically. And we are also currently going through a couple different Let's Plays on the channel. On Sundays, Tuesdays, and Thursdays, we're playing through Spider-Man 2. Really been enjoying that, but if you're going to be newly checking it out, just a little note. The first 9 parts do have some audio issues, and it's especially prevalent in parts 5 through 9. They are fixed once we get to episode 10. I figured out what the issues were, and I rectified that. But up to episode 9, it is still an issue. So just wanted to let you know that. We're also doing a donation reward Let's Play for Matthew Vasquez of Anno Mutationum. This is a kind of cyberpunk game, 2.5D. And yeah, I'm really intrigued by it so far, if nothing else. It's pretty interesting, and if you wish to know how to donate for future PS5 Let's Plays, there's some videos on the channel for you to check out that are titled somewhere around PS5 Game Reward Month. Just check out those videos, and they'll give you all the information you need. If you really want to, though, you can also contact me on the Discord server, or you can contact me just via the comments if that's more comfortable for you to do. Whatever works the best, and hopefully everything will go well. I'd love to see what kind of games you guys want me to play. That being said, though, let us just get on with the reaction and see what this first episode of this revived season has in store for us. So, when the screen fades to black, pause this redirect and go to the description below. Follow the link to the reaction because, yes, we do redirect all reactions on this channel. You know how YouTube's copyright system is. It's honestly shit. So to combat that and to avoid getting any possible channel strikes, or even worse, having the channel terminated, hate that, dealt with it before, don't want to deal with it again. To combat that, we just kind of push everything off to another site. I know you don't want to have to click extra links to just watch the reaction, but on the plus side, it does mean that all of you, and yes, I mean every single one of you, gets to see the full unedited reaction completely free. You don't have to, there's no paywall, you don't have to go to a Patreon, you don't even have to sync up your own copy. All you do is go down to the description below, click the link, and it'll take you to the site where you can watch, again, the full unedited reaction completely free. I think that's pretty neat, honestly. Not many reaction channels do that. But after you watch it, you can come back here to the redirect and resume play. Because after it fades black and then fades back in, everything from that point forward will be my afterthoughts and will contain not only spoilers to the episode, but also just my general thoughts on it, on the series, on various things like that. It's always worth it to check out. That all being said, as always, thank you so much for tuning in, and I will see you at the reaction. And we are back, and we'll begin with spoilers in 3, 2, 1, now. So yeah, this very much captured the vibe that I remember from this series. The characters still feel good. They still feel like they're, well, the same characters. The humor still seems pretty much the same. The kind of, silly stakes, like, obviously, like, notable stakes, but presented in a very silly way, for silly reasons and whatnot. I think this is pretty accurate, I would say, to Totally Spies. Again, how I remember it and all. It does take some getting used to the French voices, because I am used to, you know, the English voices, for better or worse. But I don't mind them. It's like they all seem to fit the characters pretty well. I do like that Alex feels more like early Alex to me. And maybe that was rectified in the later seasons of the original run, and I just don't remember. Like maybe season 6, they started getting back to that. But there was a time where they turned Alex kind of into this, like, ditzy comic relief. And it's like she always had a little bit of a silly side to her. I mean, all three of them do. But she was never as ditzy as that originally. Like, they kind of, when they changed her voice, it's like the new VA also made her sound a lot more like a 5-year-old practically. And it's weird because it's like her voice changed I think after she became an adult, after she graduated high school, or maybe like right before. I think they graduated in season 3. And I think it might have been season 3 where her voice changed. So maybe it was like right before, basically. The same season that happened. And it's like they made her sound younger and less mature, and they made her act less mature, and it's just, I didn't like it. It's like they really hurt her character, in my opinion. But so far from this, it seems like she's kind of back to it. Again, she's a little goofy, a little silly, a little. I wouldn't even say immature. Just free spirited, I guess. But she's not like super childish, and I like that. Especially not any more than the other two. Clover and Alex still seem pretty spot on with or not Clover and Alex, Clover and Sam. With Sam being the smart techie one, and Clover being obsessed with fashion and whatnot, you still get those same vibes. Jerry is still his goofy self, and apparently is retired now, with his daughter taking over as the new big boss of Whoop. And so far, she seems cool. I mean, not really much to go on yet, but she kind of reminds me of, especially considering her entrance is on the motorbike, Spider Woman from Across the Spider Verse. I can't think of her actual name right now, but you know the one working with Miguel, that Gwen, that Gwen really looks up to, who very clearly is going to turn against Miguel in the third Spider Verse movie. Yeah, it kind of reminds me of her. The motorcycle is the big reason there. It's just the fact that her entrance is on the motorcycle, just like Spider Woman's. It's just like, come on, and her kind of like cool personality. We also get to meet Toby, who's another new character at Whoop World in Singapore. He's the tech guy. He's going to be building their gadgets, and he built their upgraded suits and all. He also has a bionic arm, which, like I said in the reaction, means he lost an arm at some point. And that could be through multiple ways, of course, but I'm kind of wondering if maybe he was a spy at some point, and like maybe during a mission something happened and he lost his arm because of it, and since then he kind of rededicated himself to instead being a tech person. That's the only thing I could think of. I mean, I guess he could lose his arm in any kind of accident, really, but it's just, I don't know. I kind of want to hope he was a spy. Just, I think that would be cool. We also get a bit of Mandy in this episode, especially with her remembering her time as a spy after having her memory wiped originally. And that's going to be interesting to see how that comes back into play. She's saying that she wants to be a spy again, just to get out of these computer classes that her mom has put her into. And it's odd to me, though, because it's like she's an adult. I mean, all the main girls in this are. Why is she, like, doing this? It's like, if you don't want to do these computer classes, then don't. You're an adult. Your mother doesn't control you. If you don't want to do it, just tell her no. It's like, what? But seriously, I'm glad that they acknowledged the talent of this, like, I said 5, but I think she's probably more like 8 to 10 or so. This girl who created the giant panda robot. It's like, this girl is like a child. This is a baby. And she created this giant panda robot just because she was sick of the frozen yogurt guy giving such small servings. And she wanted to give everyone big servings of frozen yogurt. And so she created a giant death robot to do that. This is like some McGucket type shit. Like Gravity Falls McGucket. Creating giant robots just to get back at his wife and shit. It's like, what the fuck? How smart does this girl have to be able to do something like this? So I'm glad Toby said that they're going to keep an eye on her, and hopefully they give her a job, or at least let her help out from time to time. Because, like, this girl's skills are, like, insane to be able to do something like that at her age. Also, just where the fuck did she get the resources to do that? I know some stuff was stolen or whatnot, but, like, was everything stolen? And it's interesting, too, because the girls are now in Singapore. They're staying there. And Whoop has even transferred them to a local university from their normal place at Malibu University. Which is really interesting in and of itself. That we have a complete setting change to go with just these differences in general. I'm not opposed to the idea. I'm not opposed to them staying in Singapore or anything, but I'm just, like, surprised by it. It seems like Jerry's going to remain a consistent character. He's just not in charge anymore. Which is probably for the best, considering what he thinks is still cool and hip. Like, dude, just, you need to take a break. So yeah, this, I believe her name was Zelina. She's, Jerry's daughter. And it's like, the thing is, it actually doesn't surprise me, that much at all. Like, age-wise, definitely looks like she could be in that range. And on top of it, it's like, this dude is like the leader, former leader now, but of a super spy agency. You don't think he can pull in some cool hot chicks? Like, this dude probably has multiple children, let's be honest. And possibly with multiple women. Let's be completely honest here. Jerry, I feel, gets around. Like, the spy thing is already a huge thing for a lot of people, for a lot of women, but it's like he's got some goofiness, but there's a certain level of charm to him as well. He'd definitely be able to get with some women. And especially if like it happened in his, like, heyday and everything. But yeah, I totally buy that. And so it kind of comes down to, at this point, what did I think of this episode? Besides just, thinking that it very much felt like classic Totally Spies. I thought it was good. I thought it was a good start. The stakes weren't that high. They weren't that insane. Simply because it was very clear that the battery wasn't going to be used in the most dangerous way. But at the same time, it's like, it gets you back into things. It reintroduces you to these characters and makes it very clear this is a continuation, not a reboot. So you are possibly going to be confused about certain things if you have not seen the previous seasons. And hell, if it's been a long time like it has for me, possibly still be confused about a lot of things. Because it's just been quite a long time since I've really seen any of this series outside of random clips here and there. So, yeah, I think that this was a good start. But do I want to continue reacting to it or not? Because that's the big question now, as to where am I going to go with this. As usual, since this is a first impressions, I choose whether to continue reacting to it in the future, watch it on my own time, or drop it. And like I said in the pre-thoughts, if I choose to continue watching it in the future, or reacting to it in the future, then in that case, I'm going to be waiting until I can watch it in order because of the weird release choices that they're making. But yeah, I think I am going to continue this. I think I'm going to continue this in the future. Don't know how long it's going to be. And I think I'm going to stick with the French version. I think I'm going to stick with the French. I could go to the English when that comes out, but I don't know when that's coming out, and I think I just want to stick with the French for this one. I don't get to watch too many French cartoons, you know. So it's always fun to watch something else in French. But yeah, this was enjoyable. This was good. Nothing spectacular, but it's the first episode back. They don't want to like overload us right away. They want to just like get us back into it in a very casual, um, enjoyable way, and I think they succeeded. But tell me in the comments below, what did you think of this first episode of Totally Spies Season 7? And as a reminder, we have a lot of other great content for you to check out on the channel. Monday through Friday, we have a plethora of awesome series reactions. On Mondays, we also do YouTube or YouTube adjacent reactions. Anything that doesn't quite fit into a series or a movie. And speaking of, movies are on Saturday and Sunday. We record them earlier in the week, but we upload them on the weekends just so every day has something going on. We're currently going through 2 Let's Plays on the channel, Spider-Man 2 every Sunday, Tuesday, and Thursday, and Anno Mutationum every Saturday. As a reminder, Anno Mutationum is a donation reward Let's Play for Matthew Vasquez. If you wish to know how to engage in donation reward Let's Plays, check out on the channel videos titled PS5 Game Reward Month. There should be 2 videos you'll be able to see. It'll give you all the information you need regarding getting that done. So, that all being said, as always, thank you so much for tuning in. If you've seen any of the other episodes that are out yet or whatnot, as I always say, no spoilers. I wish to continue on without knowing what's going to happen. That being said, though, thank you all so much for tuning in. And as always, I will see you, I was doing the wrong sign off. I've done that a couple times lately. I'm Connie. I'm signing off. See y'all next time.